Right. Hello and welcome back to the 2024 Aramco Formula 4 Saudi Arabia Championship, certified by FIA. As always, my name is Aaron Thompson. We're coming to you live now for the second second race, here at the Qatar Gulf Prix at the beautiful Lusail International Circuit. And this time, ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined by a different Luca. This is Luca Allen, the next driver of Ultigil Emeritus.GP. In fact, the next champion with us in Formula 4 Southeast Asia.
Yeah, we're very glad to be joining Aaron here in the commentary booth. A bit of a different location at the racetrack than I'm used to, but yeah, I think it should be a great race here. We saw in race one there's 5 to 7 drivers that are exactly on the pace, so really looking forward to what these guys have in store for us today.
Yeah, it was a fantastic first race here, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, it was Federico Alvarfai who came out on the top spot ahead of Oscar Wirtz and Andrej Petrovic. But the top 7 or 9 were just so close together. I mean, the whole way from lap 1 to lap 9, you could see everybody almost crash box to crash box, if you know what I mean. And indeed, I think the star of the show, at least for me, was Omar Al-Walid Al-Durrani in the yellow number 18 car driving for Saudi Arabia, who made an absolutely fantastic move up the inside of Kirill Kutskov at turn 10, I believe it was.
Yeah, turn 10, and we also saw Andrej with a massive lunge on turn 1, and that was on Hamda Al-Khabaisi. So yeah, I mean, we saw in the first race how close together those top 5 drivers are. So you've got to really pull it out the bag to make a move on this circuit. But yeah, I'm sure everyone's going to be gunning for it in this race. Obviously, we got a bit of a reversed order, so that makes for an exciting race.
Well, talking about the previous race, let's have a quick run through the previous classifications. As we already mentioned, Federico Alvarfai, Oscar Wirtz, and Andrej Petrovic took the top 3 spots, just ahead of Suleiman Zanfari and Hamda Al-Khabaisi, rounding out the top 5. They were followed by the previously mentioned superstar Omar Al-Walid Al-Durrani, just ahead of Kirill Kutskov and Aurelio Nobles. And rounding out the top 10, we had Faisal Al-Kabani and Amna Al-Kabasi. P11, Sagar Al-Masherj. P12, John Shaw Rodolfo Brobio, driving in the red number 77 for the Philippines, just ahead of Jabir Al-Thani, a local Qatari native, and Abdulaziz Abu Zinada and Laura Villas as well. A fantastic race, Luca. You could see how close it was the entire way around. And really, if you missed it, you should go back and watch it, because it really was a spectacle, especially that overtake between Omar and Kirill, and the previous overtake between Andrej and Hamda as well. He really sealed the deal there. And I mean, it's unfortunate for Hamda, because she started P2. She had a really, really strong race, but about halfway through, she started to fall back the grid a little bit. Do you think it was tires? Did she run out of tires, or did she decide to stop pushing and hold on for the next race? Or
yeah, I mean, we saw Hamda did an amazing performance in qualifying. In the race, everyone is gunning for now. You've got such a, at the top of the championship, you've got Federico Alvarfai, who's only 2 to 3 points ahead of Andrej. So, when Andrej's looking ahead and he's seeing Federico run away with the race, he's going to do whatever he possibly can to get past Hamda and get all those extra points. And that'll all be carrying on to this race as well. So you got Federico and Andrej starting from the back. They'll both be looking at each other, watching how many places they're each making up and counting the points.
Well, yes, they will indeed. And ladies and gentlemen, it's a Qatari native, Jabir Al-Thani, on pole position for this race. The black number 96, starting on the left-hand side of the circuit, just ahead of Laura Villas, in the blue number 55, driving for Switzerland. Faisal Al-Kabani and Amna Al-Khabaisi sit on the second row of the grid for Saudi and UAE respectively, and Amna and Faisal have shown an impressive amount of talent at the previous race in Kuwait, so they're going to give Jabir and Laura a lot of challenge, I'm sure, at the opening sector of this race, perhaps around the outside or up the inside. We've seen both are possible coming into turn 1. Third row of the grid, we have Omar Al-Walid Al-Durrani ahead of Sagar Al-Masherj. The Saudi and Kuwaiti drivers have been battling it out all season so far, and are going to continue doing exactly that in this race, while Aurelio Nobles and Oscar Wirtz take up the fourth row grid in positions 7 and 8 respectively, while Kirill Kutskov and Federico Alvarfai round out the top 10. Solomon Zanfari takes up P11 ahead of Andrei Petrovic in the red number 49, driving for Serbia. Andrei, ladies and gentlemen, is at the moment the championship leader, or at least I should say that as we came into this event, but all of that may be about to change when we get through the results of the first race. But not to worry, ladies and gentlemen, he's got a chance to change things once again here in this reverse grid. And very soon indeed he'll get another 2 races to really bring things back into his way. But before we get to the start of the race, let's jump down to Marcello Puglisi in the pit lane.
Here we are on the grid of the Formula 4 Saudi Arabia, second race of this amazing race in Qatar. Of course, here we are by night. The cars by night are outstanding, but let's try to get some word from the driver of this championship. Let's start from Abdulaziz Abu Zenadat. Abdulaziz, I mean, you have been doing so good in the last free practice and quali, getting all the time closer. You were out from the reverse grid just by a couple of tenths. Unfortunately, you're starting from the back. How does it feel starting from here, and what are your expectations?
Yeah, and then it was all about luck. The extra 4 minutes that was put in quali cost me being in the front. But what could I say? This is racing, and we'll just see where we go from here.
Okay, let's enjoy your race, and good luck. So going on with the driver of this championship, with this really nice purple car, we have Hamda Hakubezi. Really unlucky, race for you. I mean, you had the best second lap, but unfortunately with the reverse grid, you're starting from the back. You think on this track you can overtake and still going for some good position for this race?
Yeah, I think, it's a very flowy track, and I feel like just make sure I do less mistakes, try to drive with the tires that I have, and try to save the tires till the end of the race. For sure it's going to be hard. Already in race 1 it was really difficult with the front, but I think we can definitely move forward, try to get some points.
Okay, good luck, Hamda. So going on with the quickest driver of this championship, we have Andrei Petrovic, who was so dominant during the free practice. In quali, a little mistake, but he had done some good overtaking yesterday. So do you think you can still go for some... Well, it's too late. They have to go the green light. And good luck for all the driver of this championship.
I think Marcello may have been trying to get onto the car there at the end. He left it so late before the pit lane went green. We only have 1 minute to get all the cars out of the pit lane, so it's an urgent matter now to get everybody down and onto the track, but it's not a problem, ladies and gentlemen, in these cars. You can see already excuse me, the Qatari driver in the black number 96 car is taking us on track ahead of Laura Villas in the blue number 55 for Switzerland. Coming around turn 1 now in just a moment. What's going to happen now, ladies and gentlemen, is we'll proceed around the track for 1 lap, and we'll stop in our grid boxes. There'll be a 10-second board displayed and then a green flag waved, and we'll go around for 1 further formation lap and stop in the boxes 1 more time. At that point, all 5 lights will go on 1 by 1, and as they extinguish, we will be underway. We can see the drivers weaving on track. Luca Allen, and it's usually Luca Philippe at this point, gives us a brief explanation of what exactly is going through the driver's mind now and how they can warm up their tires and warm up their car and get the best possible start.
Yeah, that feeling of when you first get onto the track for a race, it's all you have a pre-race feeling for half an hour, or even a day before the race, and as soon as you get on track, everything kind of silences out and you start to just go into pure focus and for the task ahead. And as you said, you can see them now weaving. They're just trying to build up the pressure in their tires and get them to the optimal kind of temperature for the start of the race. It does still take, you'll see on the first few laps, people are still understeering and still missing the apexes a little bit, just still missing that little bit of temperature, but yeah, they'll do the best job they can. They'll be on the brakes, back on the throttle, just generating the heat from the inside out and then to the surface by weaving, as you see there. But yeah, it'll be really interesting seeing Jabor start from pole position here. The great thing about these reverse grid races is, I mean, in race 1 we saw everyone was so fast and so consistent, but in this race we get to see who has the racecraft, who can make it through the field, and then you've got the guys starting starting at the top that wouldn't necessarily usually be there in pace, and they're going to be giving it their all to get the best result possible from the position they're in. So yeah, I mean, I personally love watching these reverse grid races. I'm sure you'd agree with me, Aaron.
Yeah, they're absolutely brilliant. They really are. I mean, that's the whole point as well, is to, it's not just about who can do the fastest one lap. It's also about who can keep themselves calm and collected at the back of the grid and silently but surely pick their way through to the front of the grid. I mean, that's exactly why Andre came out of Kuwait at the top of the standings, because he wasn't necessarily at the top step of every single podium, but he was on every single podium. You can't stop him.
Yeah.
Even with his bad luck in qualifying that saw him spin out at turn 1 just 5 minutes before the end of the session, he was on pole at that point, but because of that red flag, he ended up starting P5, and yet still he ended up on the podium yet again. You can't stop him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a championship. There's 24 races here across the championship, and it's not going to be the fastest driver, that, well, ultimately it might be, but it is also going to be the smartest driver that comes away at the end with the most points. As you said, Aaron, we saw an absolute spectacle from Andrej Petrovic in Kuwait, just consistently getting those points in, and by the last race of the 2 rounds, he was leading the championship. So yeah, we'll see what we have coming up here. We have Oscar Vers, who's also a very strong pace throughout the whole time we've been here. At all the different tracks. He's been on the other
really
end of
back
the lot.
to, well, exactly, yeah, he had bad luck in Kuwait, but really back on form now, P2 in the last race. 30 seconds on the screen at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, but we will be going around one more time still, I believe. Or
Yeah. So now you've got the green flag lap, and yeah, they'll just be getting that extra bit of temperature into their tires, probably going through all their different race strategies and what they're going to do. Obviously, you think you can plan all these things out, but once you get to the first corner, it's kind of in God's hands at that stage. But yeah, these guys will. I know the feeling. The pre-race feeling is, you almost can't describe it. But yeah, it's excitement. It's good.
So talking about Oscar Wirtz and Federico Alvarafai, P1 and P2 in the last race, where are they ending up starting in this race? We've got Wirtz in P8, and we've got Federico Alvarafai in P10. So that's very interesting indeed, because they've sandwiched Kirill Kutskov in the light blue number 23 car, and Kirill's got a lot to prove here in Qatar.
Yeah. I mean, Kirill. We all know Kirill's a world-class driver. He's karting world champion. He's just now stepped into the Formula 4 cars. So it takes time to get used to all that extra weight, the different driving style, and everything. But yeah, I'm in no doubt we'll eventually see Kirill on the top step of the podium before the season's out. But yeah, just to explain the grid format to everyone, it's the second fastest lap of qualifying, then reverse. So that's the format here today, and that's
They really just keep things interesting in qualifying as well, because you've got to do those 4 push laps to secure your race 1 and race 4 starting grids, and it ends up meaning that everybody's got to really push for the reverse grids as well. Yeah. Although to let everybody know, it is only half points for these races.
Yeah, and I mean that's why you see Andre so far back, because he was consistent throughout quality. P1, the last 3 minutes, if you guys were watching, was everyone just improved in those last few minutes with the last run, and unfortunately Andre wasn't out in those last 3 minutes, so that's why you saw he was starting from P5 in the first race, but then he's behind everyone again in this race.
Yes, indeed. We're coming around turns 12 and 13 now, ladies and gentlemen, and perhaps Luke Allen can tell us which corners on track would be the best place to try and make an overtaking maneuver.
Oh yeah, we saw. I mean, turn 1 is always the cliche overtaking spot on most tracks. You've got a big long straight. This track, it's quite flowing, but you've also got some nice tight hairpins to make some late lunges, and
T4 saw some action in the last race.
Yeah, we saw T4. There's also T7, T9. T9, T10. You can set your car up really nicely through the fast right-hander of 9 to leave yourself on the inside of 10. But yeah, I mean, as we were saying, all these guys are so consistent and so fast now. So it does take that extra little bit to get those overtakes done and move up the field.
Okay, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, everybody's coming around the ultimate corner of the circuit and are about to take their positions in their grid boxes. I'll run through the starting order one more time, and then all 5 lights will go on, and as they extinguish, we'll be underway. Jabir Al-Thani in pole position, Laura Villas P2, Faisal Kabani, Amna Kabesi, and Omar Al-Walid Al-Durrani round out the top 5. Saga Al-Masherj and Oriel Nobles take P6 and P7 respectively, while Oscar Wertz, Kirill Kutskov, and Federico Al-Rafai round out the top 10. They are followed by Suleiman Zanfari, Andrei Petrovich, Hamda Al-Kabesi, Abdulaziz Abu Zanada, and of course John Shoido for Borio. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen, the cars going into their respective boxes, splitting the grid down the middle of the main straight. You can see, of course, the engineers down in the pit lane getting ready as well, everybody paying attention to the timing screens to see if there's anything they could possibly do to help their young drivers in the second race of the Qatar Gulf Prix. Everybody stopped in their boxes now. It looks like we have a full grid, 4 lights on, 5 lights on, and as they go out, we are underway. Looks like a good start from Faisal Al-Kabani in the silver number 7 car, and Laura Villas as well seems to have jumped past Jabir Al-Thani as they go down into turn 1 now. Pay attention to the middle of the screen because it looks like Kirill Kutskov and Oscar Wertz are going to have some action as Amna Al-Kabesi goes up the inside of turn 1 on Laura Villas, and it seems that Faisal Al-Kabani now has the lead of the race. It is silver bullet Faisal Al-Kabani taking it over from the pole place driver. Coming through turn 2 and up into turn 3 now, there's going to be a chance for another overtaking maneuver as we go 3 wide through the exit of turn 3. On the left hand side of your screens, that is Federico Al-Rafai and Oscar Wertz in the white cars making a maneuver on Sagar Al-Masherj in the light blue number 5 car. It looks like he's going to sacrifice 2 positions here to the white cars as they double team him coming down through turns 4 and 5. Back into the left-handed turn 6 now, you can see that Faisal Al-Kabani in the silver car at the front of your screens is under pressure from Amna Al-Kabesi in the purple number 88. She looks left, she looks right, she decides to stuck it in behind the silver car and continue to look for a position to make a pass on him, while Omar Al-Walid Al-Durrani has taken advantage of all this action, put himself into P3 and is now closing in on the leading pack. Coming around turns into the third sector of the track, we have Laura Villas struggling to hold on in front of Kirill Kutskov, who makes a move up the inside at turn 9, repeating what happened between him and Omar Al-Walid Al-Durrani in the previous race. The silver bullet, number 7, Faisal Al-Kabani, holding on at the front of the grid. It is under a lot of pressure though, as the purple car behind him, the UAE driver Amna Al-Kabesi, is all over the back of that silver car. Coming down the back straight now, coming down through turns 13 and 14 now, you can see that Omar Al-Walid Al-Durrani is closing in as well. In fact, he has the best sector 1 of anybody on track so far by over 0.5 of a second, if I'm not mistaken, so he's really closing in on the first 2 drivers down the main straight. Now they come across the start-finish line, and it is Faisal Al-Kabani, Amna Al-Kabesi, and Omar Al-Walid Al-Durrani in P1, 2, and 3. While I see an orange car going into the pits, there may have been a contact in the beginning of the race. As we see on screen, on the left-hand side of your screen, you have the white number 10 car, Federico Al-Rafai, trying to make a move on Laura Villas, and it looks like he's going to seal the deal coming into turn 1 unless Laura can hold it on the outside line. That outside line does seem to be a bit greasy and difficult to hold, Luca.
Yeah, gee, what a start there from Faisal down the inside of Amna. Now he's ahead, just trying to hold on. But yeah, as you're saying, Aaron, the pressure at the front, because you're the one setting the example, I know.
That's Suleiman Zanfari down in the pit lane in the orange number 52 looking for a new nose.
Yeah, you see Omar and Oscar Wertz there were the chargers at the start. As we were talking, it's all about, those people making up their positions and see what they can do with their racecraft. And
talking about Oscar Wertz, he's just gone fastest overall in the first sector. He was fastest overall in the second sector last lap, and he's up on the back of Omar Al-Walid Al-Durrani, who looks like he's about to make a switch up the inside of Amna Al-Kabesi. Can Oscar Wertz take advantage of this situation between the Saudi and UAE drivers just ahead of him? Not on this particular corner, and this is all playing into Faisal Al-Kabani's hands, because he is stretching his legs at the front of the grid. He now has a 0.4 of a second gap between himself and Amna Al-Kabesi, and this is very good news indeed for the young Saudi driver.
Yeah, what Faisal just needs to do now is focus. He needs to stop looking at his mirrors, remember all his braking points and hit all his apexes. It's definitely easier said than done, but he's doing a good job out there so far with the likes of the Red Bull Junior and Amna Al-Kabesi behind, and Omar charging in third place. We've got Oscar Wertz now joining that train. So yeah, it's all going to tighten up now in the next few laps. We've got Petrovic up to 6th already. He'll be on a charge to get through to the front. He'll see Oscar Wertz there ahead as he goes wide there behind Kirill. But yeah, everyone's really gunning for it in this race, so I think we're in for a treat over the next few laps.
Well, Omar Al-Waleed Al-Durrani is going to have a look in his mirrors very soon indeed, because Oscar Welch just went best in sectors 1, 2 and I'm sure 3 in just a moment as they come across the start-finish line. You can see the gap between the yellow car and the white car in the middle of your screens is very, very close indeed. And just behind as well, there's action between Sagar Al-Mashurj and Andrei Petrovic coming down into turn 1. Around the outside, Petrovic tries, and a lot of people have tried this here, and it looks like Petrovic may actually be able to make it stick. And look at the inside line coming into turn 2, but Sagar Al-Mashurj does not let him get away with that at all. Closes the door on him coming through the exit of turn 1. Very good driving as well from the Kuwaiti national.
Yeah, through that first corner, I thought Andrew was going to try to get the switch back and set it up for the straight between 2 and 4, but went for around the outside. It's always risky going around the outside because you never really know what the driver is going to do on the inside, and we saw in that instance that Andre was just ran out of room and had no choice but to slot back in behind the driver of Saker.
Yes, indeed. Back to the front of the grid now. You can see the silver car of Faisal Al-Kabani still leading the pack and stretching his legs. He's got a 6/10 of a second gap now and has just set his personal best in sector 1. So he's exactly where he wants to be and seems to be doing very well indeed. Just behind him, Amna Al-Kabaisi is still under pressure from the yellow number 18 of Omar Al-Durid Al-Zurani. And Oscar Wirtz is, seems to have dropped back just a little bit. No, that's his teammate Federico Al-Rafai in the white number 10 car on screens at the moment, who is just behind Andrei Petrovic in the red number 49, who is all over the back of the light blue Kuwaiti car driven by Sagar Al-Mashurj as they come down into the third sector of the track. Faisal Al-Kabani going through turn 14 just at this moment, and it looks like there may be an opportunity coming through turn 1 once again. We saw in the last lap that Andrei Petrovic tried to make a move around the outside of turn 1 on Sagar Al-Mashurj, and he may be able to make an inside move if he plans his exit at turn 16 a little bit differently this time around.
Yeah, and Andre will be in a rush. He will see Federico in his mirrors and know that Federico has just overtaken him in the championship by about 2 or 3 points. As you see there, Federico just went purple on the lap previous, so he is fast, and that's why you see Andre in such a rush to get past the light blue car of Saker. These are really the deciding moments, and getting into that clear air and then pulling away. But Saker is, he's a very fast driver as well, so he will not make it easy for anyone to get past him, and he'll be looking to get up to the podium place as well in this race.
Well, talking about Federico Al-Rafai, he just went fastest overall in the last lap and is closing in on Andrei Petrovic. So you're exactly right. They've got to get going.
Andre,
what have you seen, Luca?
What I don't see is the red car.
That's a very good point indeed. Neither do I. Looks like he ran off at turn 1, and unfortunate there for the Serbian driver, but good news for Federico Al-Rafai, who sets another fastest overall.
Who's also past Saker now. So he'll be pushing on to his teammate in the white car, Oscar Vers, and it'll all start tightening up. We'll get a group of 5 cars here at the front of the field. I'm sure there'll be fireworks, but I'm looking forward to it.
Well, those 5 cars are going to be Faisal Al-Kabani, Amna Al-Kabaisi, Omar, Oscar Wirtz and Federico Al-Rafai. Federico doing his personal best first sector. They're just finishing the second sector now as they come through turns 12 and 13. Not quite close enough for anybody to make a move, and indeed Faisal Al-Kabani is managing to maintain his 4/10 of a second lead at the front of the pack. And there's going to be a lot of pressure on Omar Al-Waleed Al-Durrani in just a moment as Federico Al-Rafai and Oscar Wirtz catch right up to him. This actually may be good news for Omar, as the 2 teammates behind him, the 10 and 11 car, may start taking some of the pressure off of him so that he can go back to charging against Amna Al-Kabaisi just ahead of him.
Yeah, and we see Andrei Petrovic's times there in back in 14th place. He hasn't gone any faster in the second sector, so it looks like he could have some technical issues, as we see also there Suleiman Zanfari in the pits.
I imagine Suleiman, after replacing the wing, he was driving around at the end of the grid. He might have decided just to come in and call it a day. Save the tyres, exactly.
Yeah, but how good of a job is Faisal Al-Kabani doing? out in first. It's never easy, and you know this is Faisal's first season in Formula 4 after coming as experienced in the GT cars in the Ferrari Challenge. But coming,
big accident here at what appears to be the final corner of the circuit between the blue number 55 of Lara Villas driving for Switzerland and I believe the green number 22 of Aurelia Nobles. Is that correct? We're coming into a quick replay now to see exactly what happened. And here we are. It looks like a move up the inside at turn 1, and there's contact between the 99 of Abdulaziz Abu Zanada and the 55 of Laura Villas, and that's unfortunately the end of their races. It is in a bit of a compromising position, ladies and gentlemen, so we may need to red flag the race. Hopefully we'll be able to continue under yellows, because it's amazing what Faisal Al-Kabani is doing at the front of the grid. And we can see that Andrei Petrovic has chosen to come into the pit lane as well. Maybe it looks like they're having a look at the front nose as well. He may have had a bit of contact at some point during the race, and is a safety car now, ladies and gentlemen, because of that incident between Laura Villas and Abdulaziz Abu Zanada at the first corner.
Yeah, safety car right now, which is just going to bunch the group up a bit. Everyone will get a chance to kind of recharge their batteries and clear their mind. And yeah, but as we were saying, what a great job Faisal's doing out front. Amna, of course, holding off Omar and also applying a lot of pressure to Faisal, making it a great race for us to watch. Federico will be looking around now, not seeing any sign of Andrei Petrovic, and he'll probably be hope not rubbing his hands together, but he'll be in good spirits, and I think he will take the approach for the rest of this race just to make sure he gets the points on the board. We saw in Kuwait he had some unfortunate results that didn't help him in the championship standings, so he's looking to really make a comeback and make a statement here at the Losail circuit in Qatar.
Well, as it stands now, what are the positions, Luke Allen? We have Faisal Al-Kabani up in P1, Amna Al-Kabasi in P2, and Omar Al-Durrani in P3. They're followed by the white cars of Oscar Wirtz and Federico Al-Rafai. That's your top 5, ladies and gentlemen. So after this safety car restart, it's going to be very interesting indeed. I believe it'll be the first safety car restart for Faisal Al-Kabani, the silver bullet, in car number 7 at the front of the pack. So he's got a lot of weight on his shoulders now. And Luca, can you tell us exactly how that feels and what you would do in his shoes?
It doesn't feel great, I'm going to be honest with you. It feels good to be leading a race, but knowing that you have a train of about 11 cars behind you, all with the goal simply to go as fast as they can and make positions up. You know, it's a lot of pressure. You just have to. I was talking to Faisal before this race, and the plan is just to really focus on all his braking points, all his turning points, and you know, the more you look in the mirrors, the more it slows you down. But looking at the timing board here, we can see the top 9 or 10 are all lapping very close to each other within the kind of their best laps or last laps are all within the same seconds. So it's not going to be easy for anyone out there. You know, even if you're Oscar or Federico in 4th and 5th, you've got Saker, Aurelia and Kirill all trying to make up positions as well. So everyone is going to need to keep more than one eye on their mirrors and
on both mirrors.
On both mirrors. It would be handy to have 4 eyes in these situations, but yeah, with the safety car restarts, you need to make sure you get the temperature back into your tires. Just keep weaving, keep the temperature in your tires, and you know, just keep the momentum going and just be ready for the restart.
So message from the pit lane, ladies and gentlemen. Andrei Petrovic came into the pit lane as he believes there's some debris punctured his front left tire. So that's incredibly unlucky for the Serbian driver. Having come out of Kuwait on top, bad luck in qualifying, spinning out on with it 5 minutes left on the board, and now this puncture on his front left. But I believe it's not going to phase him at all for race 3. He's going to be back up on the podium like nothing's ever happened.
No, Andrei's been, you know, he has a great
he's got a great head on his shoulders.
He does, and you know, we saw the upwards trajectory he took on in Kuwait. You know, his first race in Formula 4, and he kept getting better and better. So I think he'll take this one on the chin. He knows he's had I wouldn't say a fortunate run, but he hasn't had any problems yet this season. So you know, every race can be perfect, and he'll bounce
Talking
back.
about Andre,
even
there he
stronger.
is on screen now, talking to his engineer. That's Pierre on the laptop there, going over the data already to tell him exactly how he can improve for the next race.
Yeah, Andre and Pierre have been working very closely together. I see them in the engineering room working on, you know, the data and the onboard, and you know, there's a reason Andre's at the top, or you know, in the top 2 in the championship. It's because he's been putting the work in and been getting the results. So yeah, unfortunate for him in this race, but yeah, I can see his championship rivals. They'll be looking to make the most of this.
Looks to me like car number 99 might have gone going again. That would be Abdulaziz Abu Zanada, one of the cars involved in the incident at turn 1 just a few moments ago. So that's good news for Saudi Arabia. They've got one guy on in first position, and Abdulaziz Abu Zanada has managed to continue, so he may be able to get back into the top 10 as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's been very impressive for Abdulaziz coming in with, you know, he's done some testing, but virtually not much experience in racing. And just every race you see him, every practice session, every qualifying, you just see him, you know, make an extra step. So, you know, even if he's at the back after the crash, it's just for him to get out there and get the seat time is great. As we were saying before the race, I was saying the moves, it has to be something special, you know, to make a move work, and sometimes you've got to take a risk. We saw there with Abdulaziz, he just locked the front left a little bit coming into the corner, and once you lock a tire, it's like, you know, it's you're a passenger at that stage. So yeah, very unfortunate for Abdulaziz. We've seen him make some great overtakes throughout the season so far, and you know, he's still learning, and yeah, delighted to see him back on track.
Well, now that we've had a safety car, that means there may be 3 laps given back. Or in fact, there will be 3 laps given back, is my understanding. So does that change anything in terms of strategy with the tyres, Luke? Are you going to put another 3 laps on these tyres? We're in race 2 now, reverse grid. So I imagine most of the front runners are probably on what they would believe to be their worst set, saving everything up for races 3 and race 4.
Yeah, I think we had about 6 laps to go when the safety car came out, so it should we should get those laps reinstated into the race, and the tyres aren't going to be in grey nick. I don't know any racing driver that enjoys driving with tyres that don't have much grip, but you know, it'll be a testament to their talent to feel the grip and to drive to the grip on track. And yeah, I mean, we'll see what we do. Everyone's on very level playing fields here at the F4 Saudi Arabia Championship, and that's what makes it so unique. So there's certainly, you know what I mean, everyone's going to be on the same playing field, and let's see what they do with the tools in the arsenal.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point as well. I mean, it's all about making sure everything is equal, and then you can really, that doesn't just give everybody an equal opportunity. What it also does is it allows you to compare your data to other drivers more. I'm not sure if accurately is the correct word, but it gives you more knowledge. As you know, if you're comparing yourself to somebody who has a completely different setup, of course you're not going to have the same line through turn 1. But if all the cars are on the same setup, you can see exactly which line is the best way to go.
Yeah, 100%, and you know, that's what makes the championship so special, because often there's a fastest driver, you know, but there's not very often a driver that's fastest in every single corner. So we all share the data here. So you know, even if Frederico's fastest in a practice session, you can come in and see that, you know, Oscar's fast in turn 10, and that's also why we see you know, the likes of Abdulaziz, Juancho, and drivers like that progress so fast, because they come straight into it and they have the access of some of the best Formula 4 drivers in the world right at their fingertips, and yeah, it's really showing here now with the top 10 all so close in pace.
Yes, indeed. Talking about fantastic young drivers, Omar Al-Walid Al-Durrani, is he going to have a chance to overtake Amin Al-Khalbasi and get into P2? Is it going to be a Saudi 1-2 here at the second race in the Qatar Gulf Prix?
Yes, I mean, he will have a chance, but you know, as we were saying, it's very hard to make that opportunity for yourself. And Omar will also see those very bright white cars behind him, and they're 2 very fast drivers, Oscar Verz and Federico El Rafai. They're not the 2 drivers I would really like to see in my mirrors coming off a safety car restart. But
which 2 drivers would you like to see in your mirrors, Luca?
I don't know.
I can think of some names.
Even just a more bland colour, you know. I feel like driving around and seeing those 2 stars in my mirrors is a bit it's a bit intimidating, but yeah, you can see Faisal at the top there, just vigorously weaving the heat into his tires, getting ready for when the safety car is restarting. But yeah.
Well, it looks to me, ladies and gentlemen, like they may have been able to recover the car from the first corner. I don't see it on the live timing map any longer, so we may be getting to resume very soon. The safety car board is still out, but as we come into sector 3 now, we may see the safety car begin to pull away from the procession, and if that happens, it would indicate that we are about to go racing again very soon indeed. So safety car restart procedure, Luca Allen. What exactly happens there? We all know that the driver in front is in control, but when does that switch back to racing?
Yeah, so at around turn 13 or 14, the safety car will turn off its lights, and then it is in the power of the car in first position, which is Faisal. You can see him now braking, accelerating, just really generating that heat into his tyres. It's all down to him, basically. He's got the easy job now, I would say. It's down to the cars behind him. Your reactions literally need to be like a cat at this stage. Because Faisal can put his foot down at
lights
any
off
stage.
on that safety car there, Luca.
Lights are off on that safety car. You can see Faisal controlling the pace now.
He's really backing them up a lot.
He's really backing them up, and you've got a long straight here at this track. So I personally wouldn't like to go too early. You can see him just weaving there. A lot of the time you will see the car in first place weaving and the cars behind not really, because if I'm in first, I see the car behind weaving, I'm going to go because I know they're occupied. So we'll see what Faisal does here. But yeah, as we said, it's a long straight, so if he messes this up, he's going to have a lot of pressure into the first corner. But let's see how he gets on. He should go.
He's going to have Omar Ali Daldrani and Amna Kabesi going left and
gone.
right, both sides around him as he puts the throttle down now, coming through the ultimate corner of the circuit. Looks like he got away well. I saw a bit of a stretch between himself and the purple car, but it may be that Federico Al-Rafai in the number 10 car is going to be close enough to Omar Ali Daldrani to make a move. Amna has a little bit of a look, perhaps trying to break the slipstream of the cars behind her, while Kirill Kutskov goes up the inside of Aurelia Nobles in the middle of the screen, coming down into turn 1. We saw Omar try to make a move, but it seemed like everybody managed to stay in their positions. Omar now defending from the white car behind him of Federico Al-Rafai as we come through corner 2 now. Omar holding on to his position, and Faisal had an excellent restart. You can see he's stretching himself away from the pack already, while Omar tries to overtake Amna in the purple car ahead of him. We can see a move, another move, and look up the inside. Here we go. There's going to be contact between the two drivers. No, there's not. Fantastic racing here, ladies and gentlemen. Amna gets pushed off to the outside. Can the number 11 car
She's still there.
from it? She is still there.
She's on the inside of turn 6.
She's come back on him as well. What fantastic driving from the Emirati driver, but they both go wide, and it looks like the white cars are going to take advantage, but can she hold on to it coming down into the next corner, turn 7? Yes, indeed she does. She holds right onto it, and Federico Al-Rafai in the white number 10 car is now challenging Omar Ali Daldrani. He goes very wide on the exit of turn 7 there as they come. It's absolutely brilliant. How long can she hold on for, Federico? That's Oscar Wertz now up into P2, but Amna is coming back on him once again. She's not going to let this go at all. Omar Ali Daldrani up the inside of both drivers coming through turn 11. Absolutely fantastic. 3 wide, maybe even 4 wide, coming down the next corner. How are they holding on without getting into any contact? I have no idea. It's an absolute miracle, and I'm glad to be witnessing it as we come down through turn 14 now. Just a few more corners, and she's completed another lap with the whole grid behind her, and this is fantastic news for Faisal. Look at this. He's got like a 5-second lead. It's absolutely crazy as Kirill Kutskov goes very, very wide indeed, coming out of turn 14 down into the penultimate corner of the circuit. Now, can he get back? Yes, he does. He's got up the inside of Aurelia Nobles in the green number 22 car. Omar Ali Daldrani is still ahead of Oscar Wertz in the white number of Federico Al-Rafai in the white number 10 car, and it looks like everything has calmed down for Amna Al-Kabesi as there's a bit of gap now between herself and the white car behind him. But the Federico Al-Rafai up the inside of Omar Ali Daldrani, and he's going to have trouble as well from Sagar Al-Musaj just behind him, as he's going to have a bit of a compromised line coming through turn 1, and it looks like Omar's going to try and make a move around the outside at turn 2. No, not at all. He's going to get, exactly. He's going to get the switch back, going to duck in behind the white car and try to get a little bit of a slipstream and make a move coming into turn 4. What can he pull off as Hamda Al-Kabesi in the purple number 8 car has a look up the inside of the green number 22 of Aurelia Nobles coming through turn 4, and Faisal Al-Qabani, ladies and gentlemen, is already on to the next corner.
Yeah, and what a great job by Amna Al-Kabaisi, the Red Bull Junior, holding on to second place there. I mean, she could be second or she could be sixth, you know, if things just went a little bit differently.
Well, I think she was sixth for a second, and then she said no thank you and was right back up the front of the grid. I don't know how she did that. She did something similar as well in Kuwait with Suleiman Zanfari. He had a very nice overtake on her, and then we cut to a different angle, and all of a sudden she was back at the front of the grid, and we had no idea how she managed to do it, but it was absolutely brilliant.
As
the light blue car, Kirill Kutzkov has a lunge into turn 10. He tried to replicate the move Omar Al-Eldrani took on him previously, but he came into the light blue car of Sagar Al-Masher. Sagar trying to get going again, very frustrated indeed with his teammate there in the light blue car. That's terrible news for the two drivers, but it may be good news for us. We may be getting another safety car, which would mean, well, no, we've already had the 3 extra laps. So,
and Faisal is not going to be happy. But let's see what happened here on the move. Kirill into Sagar.
Here we are, the 2 blue cars at the back. Kirill Kutzkov at the front, Sagar Al-Masher coming down into turn 10. Big luck up there from Kirill, and just straight into the side pod. Not really anything he could do after he locked up. Back to the front of the action now, though. You can see that Omar Al-Durrani is not giving up, and he's trying to push his way back past the white number 10 of Frederico Al-Rafai. And at the back of the grid, we have Abdulaziz Abu Zanada trying to get back from his incident earlier in the race, trying to make a move up. The Filipino driver, the red number 77, having to give up his 14th position in order to continue racing, as Abdulaziz Abu Zanada managed to claim that for Saudi Arabia. Back to the front of the pack, you can see that Omar is continuing to challenge for Oscar Wertz just ahead of him, and it's going to be a fight until the end of the race, I'm sure. Sagar Al-Masher there seems to be going back behind the safety barrier there. Maybe there'll be a safety car. They're on the exit of turn 11, though, I believe. No, turn 10, sorry, turn 10, of course. Hopefully we'll have an update on that in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen, but they don't seem to be in too compromising a place. As we continue around the track now, we can see the 2 cars are still on track, and Faisal Al-Qabani is leading us through.
Yeah, and this will be, in a funny way, this might be good for Faisal that the safety car hasn't been called out yet, because once they pass the finish line, there's only 2 more laps. And it doesn't look like they'll be able to clear that in just 1 lap. So, although he will lose his lead of 2.2 seconds now, this might just work out. But we haven't seen any boards for safety car. They might be able to clear this incident with just yellow flags. Yeah, so let's see. But it's going to be a crucial 3 laps here for Faisal with no mistakes, as he has the Red Bull Junior Amna Al-Kabaisi.
Safety car.
There we go.
Safety car. Well, he had a fantastic first safety car restart. I'm sure he's going to do it again, but it's got to hurt to see that 3-second lead diminish.
Yeah, and I mean, Amna will learn from her mistakes. Faisal has, on the safety car restart, of course, Faisal has, he's used one of his tricks now. He can't do the same thing, because Amna knows exactly when he went.
Well, if it worked once,
Yeah, I mean, it's not what I'd be doing. I'd, try pull something else out of the bag. But yeah, we're going to see now. Faisal will be, his heart rate will be going through the roof at the moment. He is literally within touching distance of his. Well, he was of his first victory in Formula 4 in just his 4th event. So yeah, he is going to be quite stressed in that car, I'd say. And
well, look at the timing screen, Luca. Look who just did the best overall lap.
Yeah,
just before the safety car came out.
Yeah, she's really fancy. You can see 2nd, 3rd, and 4th there were all razor quick there on that last lap before the safety car came out. Faisal quick as well, but still just losing about half a second. The car's behind. So yeah, this will be
very, very, very interesting.
Will we get 1 lap of racing?
We should. We absolutely should. Well, I hope we should. But of course, it's all up to race control and make sure everything's done safely for these young drivers. But it was such a fantastic restart last time around. The action between Amner, Oscar, and Frederico, and Omar Al-Walid Al-Durrani, who I believe has Oh yes, sorry, that we saw that earlier on, is now behind the number 10 car. I mean, it was such a great lap there between those 4 drivers. Amner at one point had like dropped back to P6, but the next corner was back up to P2. It was absolutely brilliant.
I mean, how often do you see Formula cars racing each other side by side for half a lap? You know, 4 of them constantly swapping places with no contact. I mean, I watch racing all the time, and I don't see much of that, I must say.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I was crossing my fingers for them, and then it was the mid-pack that had an incident. It's absolutely brilliant what those 4 young drivers managed to pull off, and I hope we get to see it again very, very soon. We can see that the first car is already being recovered, so with any luck at all, we will be able to resume shortly.
Yeah, and just going back to that incident, I mean, as we saw at Abdulaziz, the same thing happened to Kirill, just going into the corner, trying to make a move. And it's a very fine line between the peak of braking and then locking the tyres. And as we said, once you lock the tyres, you're a passenger in that car. And unfortunately, it didn't work out for Kirill there, and it ended up ending Sakir's race as well. So yeah, unfortunate. But they'll be sure to bounce back in the remaining 2 races of the weekend.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Luca, that was the parents of Faisal Al-Kabani just down there on screen a minute ago.
Yeah, and if they're anything like my parents, their heart rate will also be going through the roof when watching the racing. It's almost less nerve-wracking to be, you know, I can't imagine having a kid and watching him drive in a race car, but hopefully I'm a few years away from that. Anyway, back to the racing.
Well, very soon indeed, I'm sure. 2 laps left on the board as we come across the start-finish line now. It'll be down to 1 lap, and we saw already the first car has been recovered. Another 3 minutes going around may mean that we get 1 final lap to see what's going to happen here, and if indeed Faisal Al-Kabani can hold on to that first position, I believe it's the first Saudi Arabian race winner. We're on to the last lap now, ladies and gentlemen, so very soon we'll see what's going to happen. If there's going to be some racing, we will know that at turns 12 and 13 when the safety car lights go out.
Yeah, but judging by the last lap here, I mean, even when the safety car lights go out, you cannot overtake until you get to the start-finish line. So I think this means, unless we have added lap, I think we used all our 3 added laps, didn't we, from the last safety car?
Yeah, I believe that what they do now is rather, I mean, in the original regulations it said the race director could return 1 to 3 laps, but now after Kuwait what they decided was just automatically, if there's a safety car, you give the extra 3 laps.
Yeah, but it would be great to see that Saudi Arabian flag on the top step of the podium and hear their national anthem here in Qatar. And we are hopefully just moments away from that. Let's see. I know Amna will be praying for just 1 more lap to have a chance to go for the win. But regardless, she can be very proud of her performance here, at P2, and it wasn't an easy P2. She had to fight quite hard for that. Of course, Omar then, on the other hand, you know, he's drove an absolutely amazing race throughout the whole thing, but he was just on the wrong end of the stick with that 4-car battle, and ended down in P5. But yeah, but Omar as well, the steps he's been making every single race weekend to now, you know, he's not to be messed with now. He's a proper top runner now in this championship. We have seen him on the podium before in these reverse grid races, so we know what he's capable of. But yeah, I'm sure he's another driver where it's only a matter of time before we see him on the top step of the podium.
Yes, indeed, and unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we just have a message now from race control that the race will finish behind the safety car, or perhaps I should say fortunately, because Faisal Al-Kabani is going to take the top step of the podium.
Yeah, I am delighted for Faisal. I've been working with Faisal this week, and he's really been, you know, he's been so motivated. He's been working really hard with the data, and you know, all the behind the scenes stuff that you guys don't see. He's been working really hard, and just making sure when, you know, an opportunity like this comes in front of him, that he's able to then grasp it with both hands. And yeah, I mean, to win.
For a brief second there when he was behind the safety car and I couldn't see him, I thought, Jesus, we're giving him the commentator's curse.
Yeah, no, he will be absolutely. He's still weaving, so he doesn't know. Of course, there's no radio in these cars, so he doesn't know yet that the race is going to finish in the safety car.
Well, that's maybe an important point, Luca, because if he doesn't realize and he goes around and does a second lap and goes past the checkered flag twice, that would be a penalty for him. So this is important now, what happens here at the end of the race.
Yeah, well, he's
Because
weaving.
he looks like he might be gearing up for a race restart.
Did the safety car lights go out? He's definitely started holding the pack back, but I believe the checkered flag will come out when they cross the start-finish line, and Faisal will be awarded first place. But let's see.
Well,
here.
that's an interesting question as well. What happens if he restarts and then stops when he sees the checkered flag? Would there be a penalty for that? Because this is him putting his foot down now, and as we come across the start-finish line, we can see the checkered flag. But does he notice it?
He will.
He will indeed. Very, very good there for Faisal Azkabani as he notices the flag and he takes home his first victory, and I believe the first victory for Saudi Arabia as well here in Formula 4.
Yeah, what a result for Faisal. I'm absolutely delighted for him, and yeah, he will be equally as delighted. You know, for the first 4 or 5 laps, we saw just him driving to that consistency that he needs to do in order to keep that first position. And yeah, with the safety car restart, stayed out of trouble, built that gap up, and then had it all taken away from him with another safety car. But luckily, we finished onto that second safety car, and he's the winner.
Yes, indeed. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it's my time to get down to the podium, so I'm going to leave you in good hands with Luke Allen, and I hope to see you very soon again at 10 o'clock for race 3 here at the Qatar Gulf Prix.
Yeah, what a race we had there. The reverse, I did say it before the race, the reverse grid races are always great to watch because you've got all the young guns, you know, in these Formula 4 cars. And remember, with the Formula 4 cars, there's not as much downforce, there's not as much speed as the Formula 1 cars, so it allows them to really follow a lot more closely and race a lot more closely, which ultimately leads to much better racing. So that's what we saw in that race. We've got another reverse grid race in race 3, which is coming up in just a couple of hours, so make sure you tune in for that one as well. But yeah, some standouts there. I think, of course, Faisal Al-Kabani winning the race. Amna Al-Kabaisi then in second place, really had to fight for that second place, and I believe that is her best finishing position of the season so far. She was leading a race in Kuwait until she got caught up in an incident with, I believe, Kirill Kutskov. But yeah, I see Oscar Verz there again on the podium. His luck is finally starting to turn a little bit. We are in Kuwait, and you know, you do have those weekends as drivers where you just think the world is absolutely against you, nothing's going your way, and he had one of those weekends in Kuwait. And he's another driver, you know, that. Oh, and Amna has kept going. Yes, Faisal has done the right thing by going into the pits, as we did take the checkered flag. Seems to be a few cars still going around the track, but anyway, that will all be sorted out. That's where was I? But yeah, we have another reverse grid coming up. Oh, Oscar, yeah, another driver that works tremendously hard off the track, you know, behind the scenes with the Dane. I wish I could be down there and clapping for Faisal. I'm so happy for him, you know, to win this race. He really deserves it, all the hard work he's done. And you know, now he's reaping the rewards, points at the top of his helmet. But yeah, the Aramco sponsored car. It'll be great to have the Saudi Arabian flag on the top step of the podium for the first time this year. You can see Amna there with her parents. I believe it is her mother's birthday today, so hopefully that trophy will be a nice present for her mum. And you can see her brother there as well, Abdullah Al-Kabaisi, who is just sitting out this round. We saw some very impressive results from him in Kuwait. And yeah, just sitting out this round, hoping to see him back in the seat soon. You can see Peter Thompson there, Mr. Peter Thompson, with a huge grin on his face. There he is, about to give Faisal a big hug for his victory. Peter's done an amazing job to, you know, give these drivers the platform to show their talent here in the Middle East in this championship, and to finally see, you know, a Saudi Arabian driver get that win is a huge moment for this championship, I would say. But yeah, everyone in very good spirits down there, apart from, well, not everyone actually. So here we are with the results. We have Faisal Al-Kabani in first place. Second place, Amna Al-Kabaisi, after fighting very hard. Oscar Verz with another podium, rounding out the podium. Great performance from both Oscar and Federico in the other white car in 4th position. You can see just 7. Well, sorry, it was safety car. But in 5th place, we have Omar. Omar was unlucky in that race, I think, to come 5th. He's shown amazing pace throughout this weekend. I could tell when he rocked up this weekend he was focused. But yeah, we'll see more from him in the next 2 races. In 6th, we have Aurelia Nobles. A good race from Aurelia. She's just now getting to the top end of the pace, so I'm sure we'll see her battling up more towards the pointy end in the remaining races. In 7th, we have Hamda El Kabaisi, the sister of Amna, doing a great job there. We saw Hamda is absolutely rapid. We saw her in qualifying in P2. Jabor, a very good result for Jabor in P8. That is good points for the Qatari driver in his home race. Juancho Brobio in 9th. Very good result from Juancho. Again, another driver who's just coming on leaps and bounds in every single race. And then unfortunately in 10th we have Abdulaziz, who eventually did not finish. A few DNFs in this race. It was a hectic race, and we did see some amazing clean racing, but we also, of course, saw some, late moves and crashes. So we have Saker, Kirill, Laura, Andre, and Suleiman Zamfari, unfortunately not finishing that race. As we go over the... So here we go now for the interviews for the podium. Over to you, Marcello.
Positioning is good. Here we are with another podium from you, Oscar. So a really nice race. Wow, the battle from the outside was amazing. You were able, little by little, coming back, getting some position on the start. Well, after a not so good weekend in Kuwait, you're back.
Yeah. Well, I hope we could say I'm back, but no. But yeah, this weekend so far has been quite good. Starting P8 and finishing P3 obviously was a really good race. And obviously this track, Qatar, is known for being very hard on the tires, so I was trying to manage the tires, but obviously still trying to fight to maybe catch up to the leader and win. No, but I think I did quite a good race. With the safety cars helped like cool down the tires, which was quite good. And the safety car race, that was very hectic. For an F4 car, I think there was quite a lot of contact, but yeah, and then but it was quite fun. And yeah, I think the first 2 drivers were a little bit too fast for me today, so I couldn't beat them. Of course, that's why they're in front of me. But no, but I think I did quite well, and I'll see for the next races.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, great result there from Oscar. As we were saying, his hopefully his luck is starting to turn a little bit as we see him back on the podium. And now we go to Amna's interview from P2. So over to you, Marcello.
You want to put them down? Here we are, Amna Kubezi. I mean, I'm really without words. Your race was so good. You were able to get the 2nd position and keep it, but really after the safety car, the battle, you had, I don't know, you had 3 wise, 4 wise, everywhere, all around the track, and in the end you were able to get a really good 2nd position.
Yeah, I mean, after safety car, it was unpredictable where Faisal would start. When he started, I had understeer, so it compromised my exit down the straights. So it was just defending from there. And yeah, I mean, it was a good battle. They were all very clean drivers, so thankfully there was no one taking each other out. So yeah, it was a very fun and good experience.
At a certain point, you were going really over the curve, bottoming quite a lot, but then you were able to go back on track. It didn't get a lot of pickup in that moment. You didn't lose the grip in the front.
Yeah, I did lose some grip up front, especially in my front rights. Going into right corners, I lost a lot of front. So it was trying to manage and bring the heat back into the tires after safety car. I wasn't leaving enough to generate heat on my tires. So I had a lot of disadvantage in the first 2 laps. But then, yeah, after it was easy.
Really good job, Amna. On to the next one then.
Yeah, we heard Amna talk about those tire degradation struggles that Aaron mentioned earlier on, just giving us a good insight into it. And now we have got Faisal to share his thoughts on the race. Over to you.
Faisal Al-Kabani, after a podium in Kuwait, now you are in the first step on the podium, so you are a Formula 4 race winner. From the outside look, everything was super easy for you. Even with safety car, you were able to pull away. How was from the inside?
First of all, thank you very much. Yeah, finally on the top step of the podium. To be honest, quite an easy, relaxed race from my side of the cockpit. Try to stay cool under both safety cars, because that's when, you know, the field bunches up and everybody's quite eager to overtake, especially when the green flag is down. So it was just about picking my moment on when to go on green and stay calm throughout the remaining laps that we had.
So looking at your pace in the race was really good. No one was able to catch you. What are you missing from the qualifying at the moment?
I think it's just putting all three sectors together. We saw with my engineer and some of the driver coaches, one of you, that I have some decent sector times. It's just a matter of putting the three sectors in the same lap, and then I can be quite competitive.
I'm sure you will. Really, really good job, and congratulations for the win.
Yeah, great job from Faisal there and there. He's a bit hard on himself, I think. I think he can be happy for with his performance there, holding off the likes of Amn Al-Kabasi, Omar, and you know, all those great drivers. So yeah, what a race we just had for race 2. As you can see there, looking over the Losail race circuit here in Qatar. So we're going to have some race highlights here coming up. Let's go through some of the action. There we saw the move from Faisal on Laura Villas in the first lap, and then Federico also on Laura Villas in the same corner. Zamfari Silman, we're yet to see what happened to his front wing. Must have been a bit of conflict there. We saw Andre's big lock-up mistake. Zamfari then unfortunately DNFing from the race. There we saw Al-Daziz just locking up. As we said, you're a passenger at that point, and there is Andre there without a front wing. Need to find out what happened there. Abdulaziz then getting back on track after that. And then we have Kirill going down the inside of Aurelia, and here was the action after the safety car reset. How did they not touch? You can see Oscar Verz there going off track, rejoining, and then we have Kirill going for the late move on Saker. Unfortunately, it didn't work out that time, but there is 2 races to make that back up, and then Faisal Al-Kabani winning the race, and his first race win in Formula 4. What a performance. You can see everyone's very happy for him there. And what amazing facilities we have here at, it is worth mentioning, at the Losail circuit here in Qatar. I've been to a lot of race circuits, and I don't often walk around a race paddock admiring things such as architecture, but yeah, you can see there the amazing facilities here at Qatar circuit. So just to recap on the start, we have 5 lights and out. A good start from quite a few people at the back. Jabor just not getting off the line the way I'm sure he'd like to, but you can just see Faisal just under braking is when he moves to the inside and sticks his car in the right position. You can see Federico just thinking about a move there, but pulled out of it. Amna then followed Faisal Al-Kabani down the insides to follow through. Made a nice pathway for Omar also in the yellow car. What a start by. Then down the inside of Laura Villiers. What a move. There wasn't much space there. You will see Oscar Verz going up the inside of Saker. Federico trying to follow, but couldn't quite manage. Here we go, an aerial view of the race start. Your reactions have to be so fast on this race start. You can saw Andre, you saw Suleiman Zamfari just with those fast reactions, and they then reap the rewards all the way down the straight leading up to the first corner. Quite a clean first corner, I would say. It's very easy for, you know, things to happen, crashes to occur in the first corner. There's so much going on, often you don't really get a chance to know what's going on around you. So yeah, great testament to the level of drivers we have here to, you know, all keep it clean on the first corner. Again, another great view of the paddock we have here. Okay, I've admired that enough, but yeah, racing at night here in Qatar. Obviously, we are during Ramadan, so it gives the drivers an opportunity to refuel and you know, be at the top of their game in the races. Great floodlights as well at this track. I've been to a few tracks where they kind of have floodlights, but unfortunately you can't really see some corners. But you can see this track is very well lit up with a lot of runoff. That also plays, a big part into the drivers that are learning, the drivers that are pushing, and still just learning the car and everything. Having a big runoff does play a big role in their confidence. As they're learning and as they're pushing their boundaries. It's a bit different to, when actually we go to Jeddah in just 2 weeks' time, they won't have that luxury. Jeddah is a street circuit. So yeah, if you brake a bit too late there or go a bit sideways, it's unfortunately it's not a runoff tarmac area. It's a wall. So the drivers will be taking everything in their stride this weekend and getting ready for that challenging circuit that is Jeddah. We did see the F1 just race at Jeddah last weekend. So it'll be great to see these guys. Although it is a street circuit, I do believe we'll still see some great racing there. Just have another quick look at the race start, at the safety car restart it is. Yeah, so Faisal doing a really good job just not to let anyone too much in his toe. Amna defending a little bit. You saw Omar almost go for a move down there. He did that a few times to Amna. And I mean, that's again, fair play to Omar for, not going too far into those moves, not locking a tyre and making sure everyone got around each corner safely. But yeah, he was really trying his hardest and Amna had to put up with that pressure. You can probably see here. I think he almost goes down the inside here. He definitely tries. Sorry, I feel like I'm commentating on a live again. He did go down. Yes, this was the start of all this mayhem just after the safety car restart. You can see Amna she literally doesn't give up. Around the outside, which brings her back to the inside. So you can see a small lock from her tyres, but she just keeps it going, pushes out wide, and Oscar Vers almost then gets two of them around the outside, but just last second decides to pull out of it. Leave Amna through. Like, those corners are so fast. I don't know if the TV gives a great representation, but if you watch the onboards, that first corner is flat out part of the 3 right-hand sequence. So to be side by side and to be so close throughout those corners, it's hard. It's not easy. You can see Amna running off the road just a little bit there, just to retain the position, and then we go up to the final corner, 3 cars wide. Omar just pulls out of it, and Amna just keeping her position. But literally, they must have touched at some points, but luckily no damage occurred. And as we've been saying, it's a great testament to the level of driving that all these guys and girls are showcasing. We saw Kirill there run a little bit wide. Omar there defending from Federico. It's all still going on. It was a full lap of action on the safety car restart, and then you get to that straight, and trust me, when you are at the leading a train of cars down that straight, it's not a great feeling, because you are just literally punching a hole in the air, and everyone else is getting a slipstream on you and just bit by bit catching up. So you're constantly looking in your mirrors, just seeing how close they are getting to you, and hoping they don't do a huge dive bomb on the first corner. As we saw there in that race, there was a few dive bombs. Some of them paid off, and some of them were more unfortunate. But that's racing. It's great to have the likes of Aurelia Nobles here as well. Aurelia, Amna and Hamda are all part of Formula 1 academies. Hamda and Amna are with Red Bull, so Hamda is Red Bull Racing and Amna is with the Visa Cash App Racing Bulls Academy, and then you have Aurelia with the Ferrari Academy. So to have those pedigree of drivers coming here and racing in that championship, and having everyone, it's all been so close. It's absolutely fantastic to see. We also saw those girls racing in F1 Academy at the Jeddah Street Circuit just last week or the week before. So they will have a slight upper hand coming in to the final 2 race weekends of the season in Jeddah. Street circuits are not easy to learn. Going back to the previous point of view, you simply just don't have that space to try things out with the trial and error. So I think the boys will be chasing the girls then when it gets to Jeddah. They'll set the benchmarks, and the guys will be chasing from there. An unfortunate result in that race from Sulaiman Zamfari. He has just been razor quick throughout the whole championship, really. But yeah, luck just hasn't been on his side. I'm still unaware as to what happened to him in that race. He did lose a front wing. Usually that means you hit someone, but I am not going to make assumptions before I see anything. But yeah, Sulaiman Zamfari will definitely be hoping to bounce back in the next 2 races. Yeah, I mean, as we saw, anything can happen in those reverse grid races. Everyone's side by side. People are going off track. People are making lunges. People are locking up. It's we saw Omar go from P3 down to P5, and other people make up positions. So yeah, it's important for the drivers to remember, that there is still 2 more races, and although you might have had an unfortunate event in that one, there's still time to bounce back, and they'll know that, and they'll already be getting in the right mind frame for the last 2 races. I'm sure they're already debriefing with their engineers and going through everything. Because although even if you have a good result in these race weekends, I remember in 2019 when I raced in this championship, there's 4 races over the weekend. It's not like the Formula 1 where you have 1 race, so it's either good or bad. You either have a good or bad weekend. You can literally crash out in the first 2 races and win the second 2 races. And I know that can happen because that happened to me in India when we were racing. But yeah, so it's important for the drivers to know that they can literally turn their whole weekend around right now if they've in the next 2 races. And equally as important for the drivers that have had a good weekend so far to remember, not to celebrate. Probably stay away from the champagne just as of now, because you simply can't celebrate this early in the weekend. You've got to keep your head screwed on. You've got to stay focused, and yeah, you just reflect on it all really at the end of the weekend and the end of the 4 races on track. Here, just in between the races, it's worth mentioning, we have some of the best Qatari young drivers picked by the federation to come and test these Aramco Formula 4 cars out. I've been following them, kind of coaching and helping them in their testing over the past few days, and these are some very impressive drivers. So I do believe this championship will really unlock some hidden gems that we have out here in terms of drivers with the Middle Eastern drivers, and I'm in absolutely no doubt that we'll see more drivers from the Middle East. As you can see here, talking about drivers from the Middle East, we've got Faisal Al-Kabani just hopping on to the top step of the podium.
Now for the trophy presentation, may I please call Mr. Frank
Trophy presentation,
the
Baron.
first place trophy for the 3rd place trophy.
You see there Oscar Vers getting a very worthy 3rd place and another podium as he receives his trophy there at the podium here in Losail,
And if you would
Qatar.
please, the 2nd place trophy.
And Amna Al-Kabasi, that race wasn't easy for anyone. I mean, let's be honest, but she did fight. We saw the replays of that safety car restart, and she fought for that 2nd place, so I'm sure that trophy will be one she can cherish. And Faisal, the winner of race 2 here at event 3 of the Aramco F4 Saudi Arabian Championship, as we wait for the national anthem.
Thank you
see
very
they're
much,
all
everybody.
good
And now
spirits
for
there.
the
It
ladies.
was great to see on the podium. So you can just hear the sounds of those young Qatari drivers driving around just in between the races here in Qatar. We have got the next race coming up at, I believe, 10 p.m. Obviously in the local time of Qatar. So that'll be another great race, I'm sure. As we said, it's another reverse grid race. So the next race's grid will be formed by the third fastest laps of the drivers reversed.
And atop the top step of the podium once again, Hamd Al-Gabassi. And now may Mr. Frank Vasseur please present the third place trophy.
So here on the ladies' podium, we have Hamda Al-Gabassi in third place, receiving a trophy
And if
on
you
the
would, please,
Aramco
second
podium
place
here.
trophy.
And Aurelia in second position. A great drive there from Aurelia. She's been very consistent this
And
weekend.
of course, the
And
first
she's
place
just getting
trophy.
faster and faster, so I'm sure we'll see her more towards the pointy end in the next two races. And Amna, first place from the
And now
ladies
for the
today.
national anthem,
So that is a great
to
result
be-
from her. And here we go for the national anthem. It's been so great to see all the rising stars, and in motorsport with the F1 Academy, an all-female championship, and you can see that they're well capable of being at the very front of the grid, as we saw there with Amna Al-Gabassi. So yeah, great to see so many out here racing in Qatar. So for the next race, we have Jabor will be on pole position again. We actually have the same top four in terms of starting order. It'll go Jabor and Laura Villers on the first row, Faisal and Amna on the second row. Omar and Kirill round out the third row. Omar and Kirill will be looking for revenge to get a good result. Here we are with the rookie podium.
And in first position we have Omar Ulid Alderani.
So we have Abdulaziz there in third, with Jabor in P2.
And now may Mr. Frank Vasseur please present the third place trophy. And if you would please the second place trophy. And of course, the first place trophy.
So here we are for the rookie podium.
And now
We have
for the
Omar
national anthem of
on the top
Saudi
step of the
Arabia.
podium. And here we go for the national anthem of Saudi Arabia.
And now for a quick photo opportunity. Thank you very, very much.
Okay, fantastic. That is the end of the podium celebrations. We will be back on track for race 3 at 10 p.m. local time here in Qatar. I hope you enjoyed that race as much as I did, and I look forward to seeing you back here for race 3.